Boys and Girls Clubs of San Francisco has been a critical resource for our San Francisco community for 130 years. Generation after generation, the club has continuously innovated and evolved to meet the changing needs of children and families. Each new decade brought new challenges and opportunities, some local, some national, and some global. From the Industrial Revolution to the Digital Revolution, through 2 world wars, a Great Depression, 2 devastating earthquakes, and now a second pandemic, the club has been a force for good in kids' lives. One thing is clear. Through the pandemic, youth development programs like Boys and Girls Clubs of San Francisco were an essential part of the support system that helped this city overcome the worst days of the pandemic. When others went dark, we shined. We know that the work of out-of-school time providers like us is critical and hugely impactful at all times, but too many people don't see it or don't understand it. This time, the contribution was clear and apparent, and the impact was undeniable.
I'm proud of the staff for their resiliency and leadership in a time of crisis, and their ability to pivot and remain flexible throughout every turn of the pandemic. They were determined to provide stability and consistency to our kids when they needed it the most.
Everyone knows the old adage in real estate that it's location, location, location. In our line of work, it's relationships, relationships, relationships. And we've got excellent relationships with our young people, with families, with our neighborhoods. And these are going to be key to the work that we do to help kids and families and communities recover.
I'm a mom to Mina, who's a 10-year-old. When she came here, the first night, she was crying and said she felt like she got her childhood back. It was a sense of normalcy and, feeling of safety that she didn't have for a year.
We have individual relationships with our kids and our parents and our community, and that creates support that you don't find anywhere else.
One of the challenges during the pandemic was the volatile social and political challenges that the staff had to face. And despite all of this, they showed up every day for our young people, and I'm always impressed by that.
The club focuses on the whole child. We are passionate about educational success, but we are also passionate about health and wellness, youth leadership, job readiness, sports and fitness, and the arts. And we embrace the joys of childhood.
Descubro como un segundo hogar para mis hijos, por la confianza, la protección, seguridad, el ambiente y el staff que trabaja ahí, son como un segundo padre para ellos.
As we work through the final chapters of the pandemic, our holistic approach to youth development will be vitally important to the long-term health and well-being of all club kids.
What's happened with this pandemic, it's a prolonged learning loss. The wraparound services of the Boys and Girls Club can change that completely.
We're not replicating what happens at schools, far from it. But we are a critical complement to what happens during the school day, and we hope that schools now understand that in a much more profound way. Everyone also knows that young people are experiencing a lot of mental health challenges.
In response to the pandemic, the organization has put a huge commitment of resources behind an expansion into mental health.
And this is critical work to help our young people to recover.
Through this pandemic, all of us at Boys and Girls Clubs of San Francisco felt a strong sense of responsibility. We knew we had to effectively execute on our mission through the heart of the crisis and ensure that clubs could emerge strong and effective after the pandemic.
The Delta variant has added some new challenges when we hope to be fully emerged from the pandemic. Everyone here knows that we can lean on one another because of the flexibility and resilience that we have established over the past year and a half.
The relationships we've built and the support that we've had to have for each other in the community, in our families, and in our staff will just continue to grow.
The thing that I like most about my job is the relationship that I have with all of my colleagues. The fact that I can tap into all of these resources and I don't feel by myself.
I'm incredibly grateful to the philanthropic community for the support that they provided through the pandemic. It was so important. When people look at the way in which we stood in the gap for kids, families, and neighborhoods, they can see the importance of nonprofits that are flexible and nimble and adaptive. I hope that that sticks with folks for a long time and that philanthropists continue to invest in young people.
I'm very optimistic about the strength of our organization. We have once again shown our determination and our resilience through very challenging times.
I know this organization will continue to be creative, will continue to adapt, will continue to be determined to stand by kids and families and to face whatever challenges are ahead.